Norwood City School District Board of Education follows a bi-monthly meeting schedule. The first meeting of the month is called our committee meeting. At this meeting, we discuss fully our agenda for the board meeting to be held the third Thursday of each month. All board members encourage you to attend, watch, and listen to our committee discussion, resulting in action at the board meetings. For full disclosure, our committee meetings and board meetings are always announced, video and audio taped, as well as posted to our webpage for your review. All of our meetings are public and visitors are welcome. For roll call, Mr. Atwood?
Present.
Ms. Ballard?
Present.
Mrs. Rarica?
Present.
Mr. Taylor is absent. Mrs. Cole is absent. Will members of the board consider a motion to appoint a president pro temp for tonight's meeting?
I nominate Amber Ballard as President Pro Tem.
I second that. Does it need a second?
I believe it does. Yes.
Mr. Atwood?
Yes.
Ms. Ballard?
Yes.
Mrs. Rarica?
Yes.
Mrs. Rarica, you may manage the meeting.
You mean Ballard.
Ballard, sorry.
But if she falls over, I will.
If I fall over, it's to you, Ellis.
Sorry.
All right. Moving on to number 3, our Pledge of Allegiance. If everyone could please stand and join me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. On to 4.01, adoption of the agenda. I'd like to make a motion that we adopt the agenda as presented.
I'll second that.
All right. Any discussion? Let's go ahead and vote.
Mr. Atwood?
Yes.
Ms. Ballard?
Yes.
Mrs. Rarica?
Yes.
Moving on, 4.02, the minutes for July 18th meeting. 4.03, the minutes of the Finance Committee meeting on August 8th. And 4.04, the minutes for the committee meeting also held on August 8th. I motion that we accept all 3 of the agenda items as presented, 4.02 through 4.04.
I'll second that.
Oh, any discussion? Sorry, I am not used to that part.
That's all right.
Any discussion? Go ahead and vote.
Mr. Atwood?
Yes.
Ms. Ballard?
Yes.
Mrs. Rarica?
Yes.
All right, moving on to item number 5, personnel, and I'll move that over to our superintendent.
Thank you, Madam President. Under 5.01, we have resignation. 3 of our student aides are leaving us, and we want to thank them for their service to Norwood students. Under 5.02, we have lots of individuals we are approving to hire tonight, so I want to welcome all of these new employees. We have our last teacher, Mr. Munlin. We're delighted he's here. And as you can see in item number 2, we've been busy hiring educational aides and student assistant aides. So we are ready to go on Thursday, the 17th, by the way, which is the first day of school. All right, number 3, we had to add an additional teacher to kindergarten camp. Number 4, those are supplemental contracts for teachers who are advisors or run clubs. Number 5, it's an approval for a leave of absence. Number 6 and 7, those are corrections after reviewing the employee's work history. And number 8, these are our non-certified coaches and advisors who are getting pupil service contracts for fall sports. And there's also a change in status for a number of our coaches since they are moving positions. So that has been noted under number 8. And thank you. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Superintendent Ronan. I'd like to make a motion that we accept all of the contracts, supplementals, and new teachers and welcome them aboard.
I'll second that.
Any discussion?
I'm really excited about all these new teachers, and there was one in particular that I looked up on the internet, and it turns out they're a really fabulous person with a really great educational history, and they do a podcast. So I suggest everybody go seek that out. Should I say? Is it okay to say what it is? Does that matter?
Sure. Oh, you can say it.
Oh, it's
Certainly.
called That's a Foul by Chad Packer, who's our new assistant
At the high school.
at
Is
the
that
high
related
school
to
principal.
water polo?
Yes,
Yeah.
he's a water polo referee,
Yeah.
and sometimes he talks to other referees, but he also talks to a former student about mental health and his own daughter who's going off to college. They're fun. I was listening to one today.
Have to check it out.
Yeah.
And no more discussion? You can go ahead and vote.
Mr. Atwood,
Yes.
Ms. Ballard,
Yes.
Mrs. Rarica.
Yes.
All right, moving on to number 6, the Education Committee. I'll turn that over to Alice Rarica.
Oh, we have approve our OSB Capital Conference as PD for our board members. That's our capital conference that happens in November, and we all love going to it. And it really helps us be the best board members we can be. I would like a motion to approve our PD for our board members.
I will second that.
For discussion, it says to approve the following board members to attend. Is everyone attending, or do we have a list of who is attending besides myself?
I usually register everyone, and then Mary and I, and at some point, I can't remember how many it is, you start getting free registrations. So we usually hit that maximum, and then I can always adjust it as we go along, if there's someone that cannot make it.
All right. I think that concludes our discussion items. Unless there's anything else, we can go ahead and vote.
Mr. Atwood,
Yes.
Ms. Ballard,
Yes.
Mrs. Rarica.
Yes.
Moving along to number 7, Policy Committee. That goes under Michael Taylor, and he's not with us this evening, but we do have an item, 7.01, a resolution for staff appreciation. We wanted to recognize John Peter and Randall Grandstaff for their amazing work that they've been doing to keep everything on track, ahead of schedule, on budget, making sure that everything's ready to go for our teachers and students. Congratulations to them. I believe the resolution was read in full at the committee meeting last week, so I'm not going to reread that, but just wanted to say publicly thank you to Mr. Peter and Mr. Grandstaff for all that they've done to keep us on track. I'd like to make a motion that we approve this resolution of appreciation for both of those members. And if I could get a second, please.
I'll second that.
Any discussion?
How do you say all the nice things? Thank you, John Peter. Thank you, Randall Grandstaff. It was really nice when Brandon was reading all the things last week. It really hits you they did all that. And
People
I don't
don't
even
realize what
Yeah.
goes into making everything stay on track and on budget, and it takes people like them who are dedicated to the district to get things done. And
I
we are
don't even
very
know
lucky
how-
to have them.
John Peter has time for all the construction plus doing the stuff he has to do all the time anyway. It's just, wow.
I think that's all for discussion. Go ahead and vote.
Mr. Atwood,
Yes.
Ms. Ballard,
Yes.
Mrs. Rarica.
Yes.
All right. And 7.02 are new policies and revisions. Did we have any falling under that,
No.
Ms. Jessen?
No.
Okay.
There'll be some in September.
There will be in September. All right. Moving right along to number 8, that's buildings and grounds. That is me. We do have a couple items listed under our buildings and grounds requests. First is the Girl Scouts of Western Ohio. We have a couple requests from them. The first is for use of Sharpsburg's cafeteria for Girl Scout Info Night, which will be September 14th from 5:30 to 7:30. They also would like to use the Norwood View cafeteria for their Info Night on September 7th from 5:30 to 7:30, and the Williams Avenue cafeteria for Girl Scout Info Night on September 12th from 5:30 to 7:30. I would like to motion that we do accept these 3 meeting dates as presented, as long as there are no conflicts from any of our elementary schools.
Not that I'm aware of.
Then I'd like to go ahead and motion that we accept.
I'll second that.
The only discussion item I have for these three items, if they do get approved, is there a way that we can add them to our online calendar so that those dates are available for parents to view for the upcoming weeks? I know there's going to be a lot coming at them, and I'd like to make sure they are aware of those dates. Any further discussion?
I know we have fabulous Boy Scouts and Girl Scout programs here in Norwood, so.
We do. It's nice that each individual building is going to have their own meeting, so that way they can all be involved in case there's any transportation issues.
I bet, yeah, and if you missed one, you could go to another.
I'm sure that would work. All right, no further discussion. We can go ahead and vote.
Mr. Atwood?
Yes.
Ms. Ballard?
Yes.
Mrs. Rarica?
Yes.
Moving right along to number 9, our Finance Committee report. I'll turn that over to our treasurer, Julie Camphouse.
Thank you, Madam President. Financial reports, monthly reports, and the CFO. The CFO report and change order listings are attached for your approval. 9.02, the appropriation resolution, our temporary budget for the current year. 9.03, commercial paper. To fulfill the requirements of ORC 135.142C, we are approving commercial paper investments from the past year, and this is just a transparency thing. 9.04, middle school security project, to approve the expenditure for labor for the middle school security project. 9.05, delegate and alternate for the OSBA annual business meeting, November 13th, 2023. So I would like the board to, this needs to be done in August, so I would like the board to motion and second a alternate and a delegate and an alternate for the Capitol Conference.
So my question is which one of you would like to be the delegate?
Her.
Yeah, we had discussed it, and since Norwood has the resolution going up,
Yeah,
I'd like to be the delegate for that.
perfect. I nominate Amber Ballard to be our delegate for the OSBA conference.
And Alice Rarica as our alternate delegate.
That
I
needs a
will-
second.
Oh, we have
I'll
to do them
second
separately?
that.
I thought we could do it as one. Sure.
Yeah.
I'll
No,
second it.
Okay. But I'm in agreement as Alice as the alternate.
I will gladly sit the 7 hours while they,
Well, I've got news
Discuss.
for you, so just wait till my report, and hopefully it'll get better, but
and it'll be exciting either way. If
I
for
hope so.
some reason Amber can't get there.
And Amber, you're going to second the,
yeah,
thank you.
I will second that for Alex.
Thank you.
All right, no other discussion, let's go ahead and vote.
Mr. Atwood?
Yes.
Ms. Ballard?
Yes.
Mrs. Rarica?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, and then you have 9.06, Shea Stadium improvements, the notice to the bidders. You're approving notice to advertise for the bidding of the approved scope of work to be completed at Shea Stadium. This work includes the HVAC, waterproofing, press box addition, flooring, and indoor and field lighting. A bid opening is scheduled for September 15th, 2023. 9.07, School Resource Officer Contract with the City of Norwood. This contract allows us to work with the City of Norwood Police Department to provide SRO services to the district. 9.08, there's a few then and now purchase orders for approval. 9.09, a really nice donation from the James Katsanis family for $20,000. Although a purpose was not given by the family, it has been decided to use the funds for student activities that are unfunded. And then we also have almost $1,300 to Avenues for Success from the Kroger Community Rewards. 9.10 is special education agreements, contracted services for students that qualify through their IEP for the 23-24 school year. 9.11, closing of unused banking accounts. Some of these are escrow accounts that we use during the construction period. And then there's an investment account also that I want to close due to fraud and all the different cyber problems that are out there. I don't want to have open accounts that we don't need anymore. 9.10 is a resolution to declare transportation and practical. This complete list of private and charter schools in which transportation is impractical, this is a requirement by the Department of Education. And that is all I have for finance.
Madam
All
President,
right.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve items 9.01 through 9.12.
All right. I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Oh, I'll second it. Whew.
All right. And the only thing that won't be included in that is 9.05, since that had a separate vote box. Everything else lumped together for 9.12.
Thank you.
No other discussion. We can go ahead and vote.
Mr. Atwood?
Yes.
Ms. Ballard?
Yes.
Mrs. Ripka?
Yes.
All right. Next up is hearing of the public. I don't believe we have any public to hear from today, so we'll move along to our reports. First up for 11.01, our board announcements. Are there any board announcements?
We had opening ceremonies yesterday for the teachers, and we had a really fun motivational speaker. Anything else to say about that? or-
I figured Mary would
Oh,
cover that.
yeah, we agree it was super fun.
It was nice.
There was donuts and juice, and the sports are getting on their ways. I see them all out there practicing, and I've been transporting mine.
And we had lots of students participate in the parade for Norwood Day.
Yes, and the splash back to school and the bounce back.
Yeah, both very successful. I had a few of my friends got to work it this year. I had to work another event, so I didn't get to come to it, but I saw the pictures. It looked like a good time, as always. So thank you to Avenues for Success for putting on another great bounce back to school event. All right. No other board announcements, then I'll move on to 11.02, the superintendent's report.
Well, my superintendent's report is about the art students in Mrs. Viltrakis' art class. They have been doing the lovely sidewalks out there, and I don't think we're going to be able to bring it up on the screen, but I do have a picture here. And it's so popular that the city of Norwood, they have asked us to continue to do some more sidewalks. And then the Moose Lodge called and said, could you do one crosswalk outside our building? So I think the art students are going to be busy this year doing great crosswalks
Great.
for the city.
That's awesome.
So that concludes my report. But I look forward to showing you pictures during the year as they do more of the sidewalk.
All right. Thank you very much, Superintendent Ronan. Moving right along, 11.03, that's the Great Oaks report, and that is me. This year's meeting was our kind of our kickoff year picnic. We always have a group picnic in August, and it's a good time for us to get together and just kind of celebrate one of our board members. He has a farm. They make their own homemade ice cream, and he grows his own corn. He brings us sweet corn. It's a really good time. We had special guests that week, and we were able to ratify a new contract with some of our teachers that had separated and done a separate union, and we were able to ratify that this month, and that's been a big deal for the Oaks. We also got updates on all of our construction projects, and, hopefully, we are on track for our grand opening without too much displacement. We all know what that's like, and it should be good to go by the fall, and we're going to be having a ribbon cutting up at Live Oaks for October, and that's kind of when that's due. We also have our second annual virtual workshop presented by the committee that I'm a part of for the DEI, and it will be on social emotional learning. And it's a really great workshop presented by Imago, a group that I've worked with before out of California. And they're going to be presenting that on right before our board meeting on September 13th. The other important thing, we obviously have our back-to-school date, is also August 17th. But that, for Oaks students at Great Oaks for the Scarlet campus, juniors will be starting on the 17th. Seniors will be coming on the 18th. It'll be open to everyone on the 18th. So if you are a senior starting back at Oaks this year, hold off a day. You get one more day to sleep in, and you have to start on the 18th instead of the 17th. And that concludes my report. Moving on to 11.04. That is the Norwood Community Television report. That would be under Debbie Cole. I did speak to Tyler this evening, and he said there was nothing to report this evening. So we will go right on to 11.05, which is also me for the Ohio School Board Association's legislative report. That one I do have pulled up. Give me just one moment, please. All right, Governor DeWine announced that at the end of July, the state would be using a little over $26 million from the governor's emergency education relief dollars, GEAR, which was appropriated by Congress for the COVID-19 pandemic, to fund tutoring services at no cost to schools and districts. Districts and schools may apply for tutoring services from 6 approved vendors for the 23-24 school year, and those lists are available on OSBA's website. Governor Mike DeWine also signed Senate Bill 43, which modifies the homestead exemption for surviving spouses of disabled veterans. If this affects you, this bill will take effect on October 26th, 2023. The State Board of Education reviewed Ohio's newly enacted budget for July, including several points pertaining to workforce readiness. $300 million will be allocated for career tech expansion and equipment, $28.6 million for career awareness and exploration activities, $32 million over the biennium for industry-recognized credentialing, and $11 million total over the biennium for college credit plus related support programs. This past week, I know obviously I was not here for the committee meeting. I was actually at the state's executive meeting, and they were able to give us a review of the upcoming platform that will be discussed, or would have been discussed this past Saturday at the Legislative Platform Committee meeting. They met on Saturday morning to review all items that will be on slate for November's delegates to vote on at the OSBA conference. The resolution that we presented from Norwood City Schools on changing the graduation requirements for our IEP deferred students was the only thing on the entire list that passed. It also passed unanimously. So
That's
I
great.
wanted to say a special thank you to Christina Chesson and Amanda Havlin for their assistance in bringing this idea to life. And everyone is really excited to see it. And so your credit when you were saying that the meeting lasted many, many hours.
Oh, right.
It did. Several of the topics that were brought up at the meeting included the topics that caused such a delay at last year and the previous year's meetings. Those have now been tabled, again, for language review. So unless they have it cleared up before November, those items will be removed from slate at this time. So, but ours is going forward, and it already has a full legislative backing. So,
When we go to that legislative thing and they say it, we can go, whoa!
so that is a really good achievement, and I was super proud of it, and thank you guys. They're looking forward to it. So, and that concludes my legislative report. On to 11.06, Avenues for Success. Turn that over to Mrs. Rarica.
Why, thank you. Our summer programs have wrapped up, and Laura Ferguson is switching gears over into before care and after care, which that enrollment has been open since July. That is not the after-school programs. This is before care and after care, which is a little bit different. But that is already open. You can go to our website, look for after school, and then Avenues for Success, programs, and registration. You'll be able to register for that and make sure that you can drop off your kiddo early or pick them up late if you need to. Then our after school programs, they start a little later, usually first week of October-ish. And those will be all the fun programming, sewing and music lessons and flower arranging and drama and film club and oh, so exciting. So we'll see what kind of fun classes they come up with this year. So hopefully I'll be reporting on that next month, which classes this will be.
All right, thank you, Mrs. Rarica. All right, on to item 12.01, approval of future meetings. We have the committee meeting listed as September 12th at 6 p.m. Here at our board office at Williams Avenue. And our regular board meeting, September 21st, so we're back at our high school mini auditorium location, again, 6 p.m. And this puts us back into our regular schedule for here
Thank you
and
for
the
pointing
school,
that out.
here and the school, because I tend to go straight to the school, like I did today. So I would like to go ahead and approve these two meetings.
I will be unable to attend on September 21st.
So we
due
need
to a
to,
conflict. I will be virtually attending if that is okay, and we can appoint a president or a treasurer pro tem, or we can move the meeting, completely up to you.
Seems to be a trend to move the meetings.
We don't have to move the meeting. Like I said, I will be here virtually.
Okay, if we think we can do that, I'm okay with just keeping the meeting dates.
I say we keep the meeting
Okay.
date,
Yeah.
and we'll just appoint a treasurer pro temp.
Sounds good.
I'm a fan of regular meeting dates.
Yes,
Yeah.
I agree.
We're all very lucky that I've made it to
Say
these
you're already on
meetings.
the finance committee, would that be something you'd be willing to do next
I
month?
can sit
Will
Yeah,
you
Yeah,
be
that's
here?
fine. Yeah, I can handle the treasurer pro temp.
Perfect.
Okay, then, yeah. I mean, obviously, we'd have to vote on it at the next meeting unless we can do it right now.
We'll just do it next meeting. I'll have it on the agenda.
Okay, great. Then if we have, I guess, well, I need a motion, so then we can rediscuss the discussion. I'll motion that we accept those dates,
I'll second that.
all right? Pretend we had that discussion right now,
Sounds great.
and let's go ahead and vote.
Mr. Atwood?
Yes.
Ms. Ballard?
Yes.
Mrs. Rarica?
Yes.
All right, and the last item is the motion to adjourn. I'd like to make a motion that we adjourn our meeting.
Second.
All right. No discussion, we can go ahead and vote.
Mr. Atwood?
Yes.
Ms. Ballard?
Yes.
And Mrs. Rarica?
Yes.
All right, 6:28 PM, meeting adjourned.
Yeah, 2 minutes.